Good afternoon.
Good evening. Wherever you are on our, what kind of planet is it today?
It's an awesome planet.
Awesome. Awesome.
It's an awesome planet.
If you're here for it.
That's right.
I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
Welcome to being here. And today's episode
is called
Speak Up. In a little bit, we'll be calling in our special guest, Susan Finch, who is co-leading a course in just a few weeks here.
That has got the same title.
Speak Up. She's leading with me. We're facilitating it, and it's going to be fun.
I like this song, though. Let the words fall out honestly. I want to see you be brave. I like that song.
You know what I like about that?
That's our ringtone, actually.
It's not push those words out.
Let them fall out. Honestly,
it's like
they're there to be said, you see. But I'm not big on expressing your upsets as self-expression. I see people use something like let the words fall out honestly, be brave. People use that as an excuse to
dump.
Yeah, that's the word.
But you know what
I was thinking of that other word we used to use where you beat,
cathart.
Cathart, to express the emotion. The only problem with expressing the emotion is you keep expressing the emotion. You never get rid of it through beating a pillow.
Let's go ahead and take our special guest. We can have this.
Where are we going to take her to?
Let's take her to the moment.
Okay.
Hey, Susan.
Hi, Suze.
Hi, this is Susan. I'm calling in from Manhattan. It's great to be here.
It is great to have you here. And
do you mind my calling you Suze?
I love that. I love it.
Okay, just checking because I know it's your name, Susan, but I like Suze.
Thank you.
Susie Q.
Oh, that's good too. It's funny you bring this up. When I first met you, well, it was the second Monday night that I'd ever been to. I came, I saw you guys, you greeted me at the door. I went in, you went, Shya, you said, see you in there, Sue. And I went, that's my mother's name. My name is Susan.
I love it.
I offended myself.
Great. What was that?
I offended myself because that was not my name. That was my mother's name. I said, my goodness, hanging around with you both has been good for me because I'll tell you, that was so long ago.
That is not true. That is absolutely not true. It has not been good for you.
What do you mean?
It's been fantastic for you.
It has been
great for you. You have a husband now.
Who would have ever thought?
That wouldn't have ever happened.
That happened, by the way.
It might have, but it wouldn't have been this one.
He met you whilst we were leading a Speak Up together in Cambridge. So,
England.
Wow. How cool is
Cambridge,
that?
England.
As opposed
yes. It was Cambridge, England, and that was a magical time.
It was magical, wasn't it?
Yes.
What you were saying, Shya, about letting the words fall out, not as an upset.
Right.
One of the things that...
Well, slow down. Susan just demonstrated when you let the words come out as an upset, when she says, I'm not my mother.
Right.
Mother's name.
Which, by the way, actually, looking back, was not true. You were carrying her around like I don't want to be like her stole. It was wrapped around your head. It was, you were an embodiment of not
what you
her.
Didn't want to be.
True.
That's very costly. People want to be themselves, except when you resist one or the other of your parents, you're just not them. And that's who yourself becomes.
Aren't you grateful you got to fall in love with her before she passed away?
So grateful. And Michelle and I, my husband and I, were there the moment she took her last breath, the moment she exhaled. And leading up to that, we were with her, holding her hands, with my brother and my sister and my father. But Michelle and I were very hands-on and brave about being with her. And I attribute that to the creativity and that's this weekend. That's another weekend. The freedom to breathe and art of being a healer courses that we had taken with you. To just be with someone as they're breathing. In this case, there were many intimate moments with my mother as she was dying. And I found ease in being with her. I feel that I trained for that moment.
You did.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Well, we often talk about that at even the Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturday, Living Made Easy, the 2-hour events we do with regularity. It's like a gym for the soul, where we strengthen the core muscles of being here. Even listening to the show, strengthening the core muscles of being here. So
Well-
when life gets more challenging, you don't have to fold into an upset. You were going to say
Well,
something.
reminding yourself there's another possibility other than getting upset with life,
Oh, that reminds me of what I wanted to say.
called
Because
experiencing your
because you were
life.
talking about how cathartic or dumping your upset is not what we mean about letting the words fall out.
Yes.
But I had an experience of it yesterday morning. We were talking about the potential of going on an additional vacation trip. And at
Yes.
the time, for me, in that moment when we were discussing it, I had a whole host of projects in my mind I was in the midst of, and I was fighting with myself about whether or not I could give myself the time. What was interesting about it is letting the words fall out about the potential upset rather than jumping into the upset and speaking through the upset. Like, no, you don't understand. I'm busy. It's like, Shya, I have these concerns about these projects we're in the midst of. I love being able to easily articulate my concerns as opposed to jump into them as if they're real and talk about them like they're serious, upsetting, and you are the enemy.
I am the enemy. I am the enemy of the mind.
How do you mean that?
Well, your mind is a survival machine. And I
encourage you to live.
Exactly. I encourage you to experience your life rather than worry about your life. Encourage you to engage in what you're in as though it's your idea rather than victimize yourself with the circumstances of your life. That's what I mean.
I love that.
I mean, that's what's available. You see, you can either resist your life as it's showing up or engage in your life as it's showing up. Be there for it. Most people, if you're normal, tend to resist what's coming as though it's going to be bad, rather than allow yourself to fall into your life as it shows up, moment by moment.
Yes.
You know, we anticipate. So Ariel and I are going to go back to this place we went fishing about a week and a half ago, which has monsters. They have
monster fish.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
They're like creatures. Prehistoric predators, and they're big. They're some of them over 4 feet long. You know, they're quite large, and they're magnificent. And so to challenge yourself to have a direct experience with something that's so formidable and so alive, wild, wild predator. That's wild. That's fun.
Plus,
that gets your blood boiling,
I have to admit that taking pictures of loons really turns me on as well. First of all, they're beautiful birds, but I love how they sound. I know you can't capture it in a picture, but maybe I'll do a video while we're
Yeah,
up there.
while they're singing, because they have, you've heard Looney is Loon or Looney Tunes.
Lunatic.
Loons make the craziest
Oh,
sounds,
they're awesome.
but you
So,
got to be there, you see? And
so
you don't hear loons in New Jersey, except in the fall on the ocean.
Hmm.
I have a question for you, Susan, not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
What are you hoping for, or what's your idea for participants who attend this Saturday? It's the September 23rd, so it's this month. The Speak Up course. What are you hoping for them to discover about themselves?
I'm hoping for them to discover that they're perfect as they are. Perfect communicators, perfect humans, perfect self-expression people.
You mean you're not
Well,
going to try and fix them, change them, or
No,
make
I
them?
actually am not. There's nothing I need to do.
Susan, what I'm taken by is what you just said. And what I'm taken by is that most people's point of view of life is not what you just said. Most people are trying to get through the day, earn enough money to pay for what they want, and have some extra. Get somewhere that they think is better than where they are, rather than discover the magnificence of being a human being,
Yes.
exactly as you are.
Which in our case right now includes my noticing that our cat just brought up her fluffy toy. It's a blue raccoon. It hangs out of both sides of her mouth. She walked up the stairs. She looked me in the eye and she dropped it in front of us and looked very proud of herself for having added to this conversation.
That was a gift she brought you.
Well, maybe my wife will give me a gift now.
Yes. Oh, he wants a little of my espresso.
She reads me well.
You guys are like, what kind of gift is she going to give you?
On camera too.
You keep your mind in the gutter. We like
Okay,
it.
all right. But also with Speak Up, I anticipate there's going to be a lot of fun. Something happens when Ariel and I get together where our brains just start igniting and we come up with fun things to do. And I anticipate some fun with that as well.
I do too.
Well, I kind of love it. See, Ariel is a lighter side of my life. I'm a relatively serious dude. Whether you know it or not, I don't know. But she adds a lightness and a creativity that just balances me.
I like it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And in my experience, you add a gravitas that's effortless, and you keep me honest effortlessly, and I enjoy that.
The other thing I like.
Did I hoover that out of your
You
head?
pulled honesty out of my head.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting word to pull,
It's interesting how much we communicate without speaking up out loud, also, which is a really cool skill set, I gotta say.
Yes.
Hey, Susan, I'm excited that we get to play together, and we're going to go to a break here soon. But before we do that, is there anything that you want to say before we go and then come back with our next guest?
That everyone is invited to speak up. I extend it to the community and people who have never taken the course as well, people in America, in Europe. The cool thing about Zoom is you can participate from all over the
You know,
world.
I may be mistaken, but I believe we have a participant already registered from Hong Kong. Of course, if we go from early morning to mid-afternoon, it's going to be night to middle of the night for her till like 3:30 in the morning. And her approach is to pretend she's on a night flight.
Ah,
So only instead of bringing her to a different destination, it's bringing her to ourselves. So
I
just
love that.
where you are on the planet, there's room for you.
Join us, yes.
Excellent. All right, we'll head off now to our break, and we'll be back shortly.
So come on back.
Don't fear staying here. Now it's your turn. Let's hear what one of you listeners has to say about being here in the transformation community.
This is Christina from Bonn, Germany. And for me, transformation is to experience my curiosity in all of aspects of my life. And it allows me to learn wherever I go, wherever I see, whatever I feel. And that's transformation for me.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
As we mentioned before, Speak Up is Saturday, September 23rd. It's virtual. You're invited. We have a couple of those 2-hour Living Made Easy seminars. Monday, August 28th. That's coming up shortly. And Saturday, September 2nd. The Freedom to Breathe.
And Art of Being a Healer is an in-person residential course. We're staying at Camp Tecumseh here in Weston, New Jersey, or the western part of the state. That's October 20th, 21st, and 22nd. It's going to be a sleepaway for big kids.
I really love that we're doing that in such a
Open
environment. I think the last time that we did it as far as a in-person course, it was in New York City. It was quite lovely, but doing it here in the midst of nature, leaves turning, it's going to be a lovely event. Reclaiming Your Sense of Wonder, November 18th and 19th is also virtual. It's bilingual, German and English, to include more of our German-speaking friends.
The other thing we're doing is Costa Rica for 1 or 2 weeks in January when it's cold here.
It is a prerequisite to attend a weekend seminar. Also, the 2024 calendar is out. It has pictures that I've taken. The loon is not in this year's, maybe next year's, but it is awesome.
This calendar.
And
all the pictures Ariel took.
Yes, all except for one. Shya took a picture of me taking the picture that is on the front of the calendar. So it's in there somewhere. You can find it if you look. I get
photo credit too, by the way.
You did. This
Yes.
calendar also includes the end of 2023. There is one page that has September, October, November, and December on it, along with a great picture from El Tucano of a toucan catching a
piece of fruit or a
that
nut.
It picked and then threw up in the air, and I happened, not threw up as in vomited, but it tossed it and it caught it. And I have a picture of it right before it catches it. It was such a sweet shot to ring out 23 and ring in 24. You can find all of these resources and sign up for our mailing list as well, if you'd like, email list at transformationmadeeasy.com.
There you have it.
All right, you ready? You ready,
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
You want to call in our next guest?
We have a next guest joining us. Let's get Emmy on.
Hi, lovely.
Hi, this is Emmy Simon, and I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
So nice to have you with us.
It's really been fun to be just sort of listening to the first Susan and the conversation that you guys have been having. And I really enjoyed hearing something. I don't know if Shya said something from experiencing life versus worrying about life, and that kind of stood out to me. And
Yes.
yeah, great to be here.
It's a very unique philosophy, you know. Most
Mhm.
people are involved in the worry part. Worry is something that comes up, but you don't have to indulge in it. It's when your mind flashes off to a possible future that you don't like, you worry.
But I also see, Emmy, that sometimes a worry comes up, you see it, third principle, anything you see and allow to be exactly as it is just completes itself in an instant. But I've also found for myself, if I have worries that repeat from moment to moment, I find it so much easier now just to say, hey, I've been thinking about, bless you, or
That was a cough.
that
Yes.
was a cough. I've been thinking about something and articulate it as opposed to actually keep it private and worry about it.
Or complain to yourself about it, or, well, what will he think if I say this? Rather than look and see what your truth is and say it. Let the truth
Yeah,
out, honestly.
I
I want to
yeah,
see brave, you see.
yeah. I remember being in Costa Rica with you guys, and I remember Shya, you came on. I think Ariel, you were doing something, and you came on and you played that song. And maybe your phone rang because you said it was it might have been your phone ringing and it played the song. And I just love that song. So it does lead me into my question for today. Um, I've been asked by my church to do a 4-minute heart share this month. That just happened a couple of days ago. And what I find for myself, I guess my question is, I am willing to be seen, but what comes up is this like worry, I guess I could call it worry. I'm afraid to be embarrassed or speak my truth. And I thought I would just look at that and, be here for what wants to be seen.
Well, I have an idea about that, but I'm wondering, Susan, if you had anything to say about that.
Well, I love, Emmy, how you express yourself. And I've known you for a while. You've never been inappropriate or wrong. You can't be wrong being yourself. And what is it called? A heart share? Is that what it is?
It's called a heart share. Yeah,
What a
I've been
beautiful name. If you come from that place and speak your truth, how could you possibly do anything wrong?
Well, here's the thing,
yeah.
Emmy, you're afraid to be judged.
Yes.
And the problem is you judge you.
Mm.
So you're assuming that they'll judge you like you judge you.
Yes, I do judge myself. I do see that.
And so in judging yourself, you think you should be different than you are.
I think I should know more than what I know.
Well, that's being different than
That's different, right? Yeah.
Here's my heart share from Emmy Simon.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Emmy. I was asked by you all to do a heart share today. And the first thing that happened was all of my concerns about myself. And that's what I have to give you today. I was afraid of being judged the way I judge myself. I have the idea I'm not articulate. I have the idea I'm not enough, that what I have to say, but what I have to give is all those concerns. And you get to see my magnificence, including all of that, because I know you have that too. And I know you are magnificent.
Oh, that's
A
beautiful.
little less than 4 minutes, but
It was a good start.
it was a good start.
Yeah.
Oftentimes when people go to start something, they forget, there you go again, they forget that where they're starting is part of the gift. If I have a concern, I think I have to have sorted all out first, rather than say, oh, my concern is I'm going to sound stupid, or you won't like the sound of my voice, or whatever the concern is that's between me and articulating, that is a gift.
Got it. Yeah, I feel like I do have to be perfect. Like all that I need to do on my own.
Emmy, you're already perfect.
But see, that's a perfect thing to say too. I think I have to be perfect. I miss that I'm already perfect. Anything you can think of is already a part of your brilliance.
I love that. I love that. I really do. It's like it's okay to just be me.
Mm-hmm.
Emmy, the other thing is you can't do it wrong.
Well, that's a relief. Because that is the part of the feeling of being embarrassed,
Look, you belong to a church. The
Yes.
church is made up of people, and normal people have a facade of well-being. It's thin, it's a veneer, if you will, of well-being that they put out to the world. And inside, they're worried that they'll be judged. They think they're not enough.
They have their insecurities.
They have their insecurities. And so not only are you worried that you won't do it well enough when you get up there, they have those fears, and you pick up on their fears, even though they seem polished. Underneath, they're quite tender, rough,
Yes.
Sweet about it is, if I'm not mistaken, most churches have the premise that you have been made in God's image.
Yes.
How could embarrassment be wrong? How could being afraid be wrong?
How can being insecure be wrong?
This is what Susan was talking about, that you are perfect, not in spite of those fears,
But exactly as you are.
including those fears.
Including them all. One of the things, I love that. I really love what you just said. I can't include all of it. And I was listening, but what was sort of wanting to come up was, I have so much enthusiasm with life and joy, and sometimes with so much going on in the world, I feel like I need to hide that, squelch it down a little, that I feel this aliveness in me. And
Sorry.
yeah, I judge that. I don't know.
Well, look, you've had this aliveness in you. We're doing a seminar in November, a virtual seminar called Reclaiming Your Sense of Wonder. And this aliveness that you speak about is your sense of wonder with life. Being alive is an extraordinary gift. That to know that you're alive is most other creatures in life don't realize, have a sense of their existence. And you do, we do. Now, the question is, are you going to allow yourself to experience this aliveness, or are you going to protect yourself and try to get to the end without any bumps? Life has bumps.
Life has bumps. Yes.
You experience the bumps and it gets fun to be you. If you resist the bumps, you get lost in trying to survive rather than live.
I
get that.
I understand, or I that concern that if you're well and people around you are in a dark time, or clearly there's the war in Ukraine. There's just lots of situations in the world that at any given moment are anywhere from dire to dark. And
Mm.
you can either suppress so that you don't bother people, or you can be yourself as a beacon of possibility. I imagine those people fighting in those war-torn areas would love the possibility to live the life you're living. That's what many of them are fighting for. And so to make yourself less somehow,
Diminishes their possibilities.
Oh.
See,
Hmm.
you become a possibility out of experiencing your aliveness, unfettered, unsuppressed, fully, clearly being yourself makes a huge difference and lets other people know that they can be their selves. I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about being you moment to moment.
you've come to, as you mentioned, Costa Rica seminars. Let's talk about the Living Made Easy, the 2-hour seminars for a moment.
Yes.
When you zoom in, they used to be in person, but when you zoom in, don't you already connect in with a sense of well-being before we even start?
I do. I really do sense that. I had that experience when someone from the community actually reached out to me on Facebook. And I mean, the minute I read the response to something I posted, my heart lit up like this huge light. And I just knew um, well-being. I knew well-being
Well,
was
you
here.
you have that.
Community.
See, and I, without diminishing the people in your church, I do not believe they have a direct experience of well-being that is consistent in their lives. They may have moments or glimpses of, but well-being for most people is lost in the fear of the future or the complaints about their past and their life. And most people are addicted to that complaint. And, transformation, our approach, instantaneous transformation, is a opportunity to discover another possibility called well-being.
That lights up whatever you're in the midst of.
Mm.
What you were describing earlier, Susan, about when Shya called you Sue as opposed to Susan after we first met you. And you're
Right.
like, oh, that's not my name, that's my mother. I'm certain there are a lot of people in any classroom or church or any situation who have those complaints against their parents. And then as that falls away, there's this grace and gratitude for being alive and for everything everybody went through to bring you here.
Yes. And I admire your enthusiasm and your heart connection, Emmy. It's infectious. And
Aw.
who are we not to express that? Especially when, I like Shya said about the church. I mean, people want to do good things in a church, but I grew up feeling that, well, do I deserve to have it so good? Shouldn't I suffer a little bit? And that part doesn't have to be there. That I don't have to listen to that. I don't have to follow that to fruition. I can enjoy my life.
I like that. Yes.
That reminds me Susan, that approach to life really came out through all the time that you shared with everybody when you had breast cancer and got your mastectomy, and you would come on Mondays, you'd come on the podcast and go, well, this is what's happening today. And it wasn't like suffering was not required. There was pain, there was fear, there was all the healing that happened. but I was so impressed that you skipped the suffering step.
Yeah,
Mm.
what a great thing to be able to do. That was because of transformation and the community and being reminded that I'm not just okay, I'm really, really living.
By the way, if you are listening to this podcast, you could, should you so choose, count yourself as part of the community, because otherwise you wouldn't be listening. It's like this, like, hello, whether you've attended seminars or not. And, there are a number of people who we love, like Jen, who comes from Kansas City, who listened to the podcast for some time before she ever made it to her first seminar. So if that's you while you're listening, we're all inviting you, should you wish to come see some of us in person, either in person or visually via Zoom. Yeah.
You are welcome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That's how I came here. I found the community through the podcast shows and knew I needed to come. And the first one I could come to, I think I listened to 5 of the podcasts straight in a row one day. And then the first one that was in November, and I signed up for the January. So that's how I came into this community.
And at
And
that time, it's all in person. So you traveled to the in person
traveled.
January. So
It's well worth. I'm going to sign up for the New Jersey one in the woods. I love being in nature, and um, I'm going to love seeing everyone again.
that's so
Great.
sweet. It'll be nice to hug you in person again.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I did sign up for Speak Up too. Yes.
That's great.
Very, very cool.
Thank you.
Consistency really makes a difference because you see, most people are lost in a condition called change rather than transformation, where their life takes place over time and everything happens incrementally, and you're never quite there. You're getting there. But transformation, you show up in your life in this moment as a living being, not getting there, but being there. And that makes all the difference in the world.
I had a really good example of that.
I'm listening.
After I was on a Monday night show, the next day I was out on the deck watching a young kid. We have these reservoirs by the house, and he was fishing, and the sun was coming down, and I just really got, like just watching him and, listening with my eyes and ears, and just got really there. And all of a sudden, the lawnmowers and the blowers and I felt that agitation, like they were ruining my moment, like that noise was ruining my moment. And I just stayed just watching him throw his line out, reeling it back in, and I feel as though this wave of, I call it the wave of transformation, came through me. All of a sudden, that agitation turned into this appreciation, I want to call it, of, oh my gosh, these blowers and these lawnmowers are taking care of all this beautiful reservoir around us, it was just an instantaneous shift. I felt the instantaneous shift come over me. That's why I call it a wave, because it just felt like it happened so instantaneously.
That's great. Congratulations.
So
See, most people don't have that though. They may have a moment of it, but not consistently, where, it's so easy to get upset in an upset world with upset people all over the place, and you feel they're upset and you think it's you.
I often think about it like, if we walked around in our daily life and go to work and go into the cities and do whatever we do, and we went a week without taking a shower, we wouldn't be surprised if we felt sticky, or we smelled, or our hands were dirty, or our feet picked up grime from we just wouldn't be surprised. And I often feel like the seminars that we do are like taking a shower. But somehow we've been trained to think if we want to let go of the gunk of just living, somehow we should never get dirty or never get upset. We should be beyond it. We should be above it. And it's just not how it happens.
If this stuff really worked, why would you need to come back for more?
That's right. I'd take a pill and it'd be done. Oh, there's my vitamins for the lifetime. Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that. It's moment by moment. And I'm grateful that that's the way it is, because I get to see more possibility and meet more people. And I love that my intimacy with people isn't based on complaint, because it used to be standing at the bus stop. Oh, this bus is late. That's how I would find intimacy with people, is through complaint. And there's so much more available now.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
I think you're whoever it asked you, whoever's the pastor or whoever facilitates these heart shares, is very smart
To ask you,
because you have so much to offer.
You have a radiance that you don't even think about having. It's just the way you are now. And it's noticeable to people. I would look, this may seem self-promoting, but I would even share with your church that you take seminars to notice how you live. So you're bringing awareness to your life and the difference it makes.
We'd love to meet some of your friends.
I'd love that, you know?
And they'd probably love to meet us.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, how does Emmy do it?
Yeah.
I would like to know what Emmy's secret is.
You know, we go fishing every year in British Columbia on a river called the Babine. It's at a camp that's very remote, and they fly us in by helicopter. And yeah, it's very cool. And I've had people there say to me, so at your age, you seem so present and limber and here. What is your secret? And then when I try to explain to them, they walk away. Because they're not really interested in that aliveness that they see. They're interested in it, but they're not interested in doing the work. There's not much work involved. It's just a surrender to your life rather than your thoughts about what you need to be happy.
You know, when Susan was talking to you, Emmy, about your perfection.
Yes.
I know you're grateful to having found us in transformation and your investment in it. But if we back up to that, you heard the podcast, you listened to 5 in a row, and I'm sure you were grateful for what you heard, but that you registered to come to New York City, not having met us, not knowing people. When you first, that's how you got yourself there. I imagine your friends, the people in the church, underestimate how cool they already are. Before we ever met you, with whatever baggage you might have brought, and I'm not talking about your luggage, look how courageous you were and are. Look how self-generating you were and are. We human beings tend to rehearse and repeat to ourselves our self-perceived limitations. But all of the things that other people find so magnificent in us, we tend to go, oh, that. Like, so like when Shya says, the pictures on the new calendar are magnificent, I have to take a breath and go, yes, magnificent.
Yes.
You're nodding. Yes. This is an audio.
Oh, yes. I guess I was just like feeling magnificent. Yeah, I was feeling that magnificence with you when you said that.
Really happy you came today.
Yes,
you know,
all of you.
All of you.
Thank
and
you.
And Michelle, who's our producer, sitting next to Susan. He's been very quiet.
He's also her husband,
He is.
and he's very handsome.
Yeah.
He is.
You know, you can say something, Michelle. It's okay. We know you're here.
Yeah, hi everyone. It was an honor being part of this show.
Yes. Yes. And Emmy, one last thing before we end this part of the segment. I had totally forgotten that you listened to the podcast first before attending a seminar. And it's even easier for people now because we have so many virtual options that we didn't have when you first attended. You are a living, breathing possibility for people.
Thank
True.
you. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Yes, thank you.
Excellent. If you want to be a guest like Emmy or Susan, or you want to submit a listener spotlight, which is the little communication in the middle of this podcast where people are talking about their experience of transformation, you can do that. Just go to transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and find out how. Next week's podcast, the theme is relax. You got this. That's a good one for you, Emmy. Relax. You got this. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't
Is being here.